All right, so look, I gotta say a few things before we begin this video. For one, I don't like the way Michelle Obama talks about Obama as of late. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a fan of the way she talks about him. And two, I can promise you, she doesn't like that she's always asked about Obama. Right? One of the things that I noticed about Michelle is that she has pride. She's what you consider a boss bitch, to be honest with you. And it's a little weird being a boss bitch and you're sleeping next to the most powerful man in the world. It does create some conflict or even fucks with you a little bit, right? But let's watch how the story of how they met and how Obama was able to court her and how you guys can apply this in your life. Because if you guys notice, she made it difficult for Mr. Obama. Whether or not he was born in America, we don't know. I'm kidding. Right? So let's see what she has to say. And if you guys enjoyed this, let me know. I'll make more of these types of videos. As you guys know, we are experimenting with different types of videos. The channel is dying, people, and we need to revive it. So we are experimenting, people. We are on experimentation mode. I imagine I have worn out my welcome. So we need to change it up, people. Let's begin.
Tell me about the first time you met Barack. What was your impression?
I was a first-year associate at Sidley.
So wait, I'm gonna pause it every now and then because I don't want CNN to demonetize it. But one of the things that we're gonna notice is how they met. If you guys notice, they didn't meet online, right? And this is why I tell people the longest relationships you meet them through in real life.
In Austin. I just graduated from law school, had spent my first summer year as an intern, and there was all this buzz about this hotshot young first-year law student from Harvard. And everyone, I mean, from the head of the firm on down, had talked about how brilliant this guy was, and it was rare that a firm as big as ours hired first-year students.
Yeah, Obama was that dude. For people to be talking about him back then like that, you know? So okay, so he was already a famous guy, he was already known. And this kind of reminds me of the Kiki and Magic Johnson, where he was known, he was famous, but she was hesitant to be with him.
So he was going to come in as a summer associate. And they decided that I should be his advisor, probably because we both went to the same law school. We were both minority students.
Yeah, it's because we were black. Speed racist.
I remember getting his bio. And I probably did what a lot of people do when they hear about Barack Obama. First I thought, what kind of name is Barack Obama? And I found out that he grew up in Hawaii. And I found that strange as a girl who grew up on the south side of Chicago. I had never met anybody who lived in Hawaii. That was always where you vacationed. It wasn't where you were from.
Right.
And I found out that he was biracial. So my assumption was this guy's got to be kind of weird, right? Probably a little nerdy. I'd already sort of created an image of this very intellectual nerd. And I was prepared to be polite and all that.
Carlton Banks, pretty much.
And then he walked into my office on that first day, and he was cuter than I thought he'd be. So that was a first positive impression, but I had to take him out to lunch on that first day, and we had to talk. And he told
Oh, Michelle, do you know how my name is Obama?
me more about his background, and he fleshed it out a bit more. I found out that his father was from Kenya, his mother was a white woman from.
So it's one of the things that I like about this is that if you guys notice, she's like the whole time she's like this. Who is this guy? And I like that because it changes your demeanor. Your whole demeanor changes. When you're skeptical, when you're trying to figure them out, it creates an aura around you that it just looks like you almost feel compelled to impress you, right? But when you meet the guy and you already say to yourself, he's the shit. Oh, I like him. You meet Obama, you already got the creepy eyes. See what I'm saying? Like it's all about projecting that calmness. And the way you do that is that you don't let them win you over in the first day. You got to remain skeptical. Guys like it when you're skeptical.
Kansas, and that he had spent part of his life in Indonesia. And I just found him intriguing in every way that you can imagine. He was funny. He was self-deprecating. He didn't take himself too seriously. he could laugh at himself. I mean, we clicked right away. He was very down to earth, despite having come from this very exotic background compared to mine.
And yet you didn't date him. You passed him off to your friends. Why?
You know, that was sort of part of where
That's wild, right? That's crazy because it sounds like he's the full package, and that's one thing that guys that does get with you. That's I could promise you. Most women that saw Mr. Obama, they're like, "Holy shit!" And he's like he. I could tell my parents he's white. Like this guy's, like. And so she pretty much friend zoned him. And when you friend zone a guy who thinks that he has a full package, like it hurts a guy's ego. And it's actually something that I recommend.
I was in my life, because I was taking my job as an advisor. I was his advisor very seriously, and it was my first responsibility as an associate.
So she put barriers, right? And I like that a lot. The fact that she was dating, he knew he was good, but she said no because of the job situation. And those barriers, as guys fucking hate it when you're professional. They hate that shit. But at the same time, let me tell you something. For long term, it's great because long term, he's gonna remember the fact that you kept it professional even when you liked me. That breeds trust. So that whenever you meet another guy who's of power, he's not gonna say, "Oh fuck, she's gonna bang him on the first night," just like she did with me. See what I'm saying? So if you want to be wifey material and project that, if you work with someone and you like them, put some barriers, appear moral, and push them off to somebody else. If they like you, two things will happen. One, they'll respect you because they know you'll do that with the next guy, even if you're together, trustworthy material. And two, it's a neg. It's a neg. It's an indicator of disinterest, which means you got to do more to impress me. Like you could only gain by doing this. Honestly, it really is.
So, and my mind wasn't focused on dating. I thought this guy is going to be a good friend of mine. I liked him.
See, that's the thing with this woman, right? She's very masculine. I'm gonna be honest with you. And not in a bad way, but in a way to explain this. She is gonna be a lawyer. She was going there to be a lawyer. Okay. And women that are lawyers, one of the things about them is that they have pride. They also want to be the center of attention, right? And so and this type of like, because lawyers are there's a certain coldness about them that attracts guys. It attracts guys. And one thing I do know, I could guess, is that she's pretty good at being alone. Because again, lawyers, there's a certain coldness about them and certain self-sufficiency that to a guy like Barack Obama that doesn't have a lot of time in his schedule, a woman like her will make him make time for her because she's also busy. She's not just waiting around like a creepazoid for him.
Hung out, but I just didn't see that. I didn't see a relationship coming out of that.
So tell me about the first date, because he wanted to go out with you and something must have changed. Tell me about that first date.
You know,
What
well,
did you do?
we had spent a month in the firm together, and we were developing a really good friendship. And he lived near me in Hyde Park. I lived in South Shore. I still live with my parents.
The one thing that predicts who you're going to marry, at least back then, was proximity. Proximity. There's a higher likelihood you're going to marry the people who live around your area than somebody who lives across in another city, unless you be doing some suspicious things and you need to hide your reputation. So all of the variables that I talk about on this channel, she had it. Proximity, right? Um, she put up barriers. They see each other every day. They have boring moments where they're just working together, and over time you get used to each other. You put them in a friend zone, you push them away a little bit. Those variables are the things that I talk about in this channel.
So I liked him, but he insisted that we should go out on a date, and I thought,
A little unprofessional by Obama. Like, how was he doing that? Oh, Michelle, come here. Come here. Come here, Michelle. Oh, I think you should go on a date with me. It's going to be a beautiful day. Barack Obama. Oh, I can't do a good Barack Obama. I'm gonna do a good job. Michelle, you gotta go out with him. He's an incredible guy. He's an incredible for a black guy. He's incredible. He might not be from here. You know, he's a little too exotic.
No, that wouldn't be the right thing to do. And he
See that,
said, who
Patrick?
cares? So I said, okay, we'll go on this one date, but
So it's the hesitancy, and I love that. Never say yes on the first try. Never say yes.
we won't call it a date. I'll spend the day with you. So we wound up spending the day. We went to the Art Institute in Chicago, and he impressed me with his knowledge of art. And we went to lunch in one of the
You see, he was trying to impress her because he sensed that he hasn't won her over, and that's why a man will be more romantic the more you make them work for your attention. Like that romanticism comes from that. But when you act like he's already impressed you, there's no need to be romantic.
outdoor cafes at the Art Institute where they were playing jazz. So that was really sweet. And then we walked up Michigan Avenue. It was on a really beautiful summer day. We just walked and we talked and we talked and we wound up going to see a movie. And our first movie was Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee. It had just come out.
A
So
black
that was
movie.
sort of his cultural side too.
Right?
So he
It's like, I'm in show. Got a movie to watch. It's a very special movie. And then after that, we're going to go play some basketball.
he was sort of pulling out all the stops. And
Right?
then we wound up having a drink on the 99th floor of the John Hancock building, and that gives you a beautiful view of the city. And probably by the end of that date, it was over.
You were sold.
I was sold.
Yeah. And that's right. Even if she was, let's be honest, okay, she was sold a long time ago. She just had the self-discipline. She's a lawyer. Lawyers are good at being cold motherfuckers, right? They know how to act. They're not Melissas. They're not Hailey Biebers, okay? They're fucking, they're a wolf. Like they're, you know, like a wolf, like, you know? And I think this is how you get a guy like that, honestly. Like you can't just be so easily won over the first try. Like you gotta make them feel like they're behind the ball. Don't be so quick to fall in love with them, and you get these types of results. You know, if you guys want to know more about this, watch the commercial right now.
Do you give off Terminator vibes because you're so masculine? Or do you give off nice girl, creepy, and needy vibes because you're just too feminine? The problem is that both sides suffer greatly in their business life, relationships life, and friendships with family and friends. And if you don't know how to fix that, you will repeat the same pattern your whole life and never escape. Well, guess what? I have a course for you, and it's called The Feminine Woman. It's pretty much a course on how to increase your self-esteem through practical means, not through giving you guys affirmation and wishing that you stop being terminators or you stop being needy and creepy goldfish. No, I'll give you practical things that by you doing this, if you're too masculine, I swear people will say there's something in you. You look more relaxed. You're just more comforting. You become more emotionally open because I teach you guys those strategies. It's a 5-week course. If you're too masculine, you are successful in life, you are successful in business, but you struggle with connecting. And so that course will give you practical things that if you're a Terminator, you'll come out human, people. Like you'll just give off a more relaxed vibe. It's what I did in my life to heal me from my toxic masculinity. It's a 5-week course, and in that I teach you guys how to let go of the past. I teach you guys how to use your feminine energy to influence without being too sexual, which might sabotage you. I'll teach you guys how to use the masculine to be assertive without scaring people off because sometimes it could be too much. It's a course that balances those things out. Okay, so if you go Bronx mode, if you're too Beverly Hills mode, I'll teach you guys how to go Bronx mode, or better yet, South Side of Chicago type of shit. Well, now you're just a serial killer right there, right? And with this course has a 30-day money back guarantee, and if you purchase it, you guys also get access to the Zoom meditation group where we both meditate, or we all meditate on a weekly basis, and you guys get access to the WhatsApp group. And it's really a good course. If you guys don't like it, just ask for your money back. I mean, you guys can see the reviews right here. A lot of people like those reviews. And you'll see the results. And if you don't see the results, then I'll just give you your money back. Like, I'm not gonna Like, I'm not gonna scam you guys if it doesn't work, but I know it's gonna work. So you do that now. Don't end up like Frida Kahlo. All right? Don't do that shit. Y'all just think you guys can break my rules and tell people you watch my channel. You can't do that. Okay? So purchase that right now. It's a lifetime. You get lifetime access to that course, and I'll see you guys inside. Take care. Let's continue with the video.